I've heard people all my life say that, you can't get pregnant the first time you have sex. If a girl takes a bath, douches, or anything, urinates after sex, that she can't get pregnant, which is not true.
I've heard of some people even thinking of birth control as abortion, and that to me is just like the biggest misconception ever. Like, no.
And another misconception would be like you can't get pregnant if a guy pulls out and uses the withdrawal method, which in some cases might be true, but it's not fully effective.
I think a big myth is that people think it's not going to happen to them. I think that's the same way with unplanned pregnancies. People think, oh, that's not going to happen to me. And it can happen to you. Over half of pregnancies here in the mountains are unplanned. And I think we have a pretty high rate of STDs as well. But a lot of young people I meet ask me questions that they should be able to ask a parent that they don't feel comfortable asking.
We grow up to follow what our parents believe in, and that's what, we're always taught, so that's what we know.
There's a huge need when I get questions so innocent as, do I have to shower before sex? These are very innocent questions that young people should have access to ask. They should have people in their lives they can ask these questions to, and they just don't. There are books that parents can read to figure out best ways to talk to your child and your teen about sex, but I think a lot of parents are fearful around this topic too and are scared.
It's really hard when it's a new, fresh topic, but if you've been talking about this from an early age, it seems pretty natural. And I think that the earlier we're talking about it, the more you learn and the more educated you can be on this topic. So my advice for parents would just be to talk about this from an early age, or be approachable about it. At some point, this conversation's going to have to happen, and it's best that they hear it from a trusted source like their parents.
It is dangerous, it's violent, it's sad that we are withholding information from young people when those are the people who we feel like we're constantly trying to educate and pour knowledge onto, like a lot of high expectations around formalized education, none of which are around these issues that affect every single human body.
Like I said earlier, they only teach abstinence mostly with sex ed. They don't talk about STDs and how to prevent those. And I think that they really need to do a better job with promoting birth control and STD prevention.
All Access EKY is a collaborative program between Appalshop, Kentucky Health Justice Network, and Power to Decide. And the goal of the program is to create a space where people can talk about and educate themselves about birth control and reproductive health care in hopes of gaining better access to those things.
I'm familiar with a lot of birth control methods and contraceptives because I've been with All Access for a long period of time doing work with them. I haven't missed a semester.
Hey y'all, I'm Taylor Pratt from All Access EKY, and I'm here to tell you about LARCs. Do you know what a LARC is? If not, you're probably familiar with actual LARCs themselves, such as IUDs, subdermal contraceptives, and the birth control shot. LARC stands for long-acting reversible contraception.
I learned about every different kind of birth control, just about it. I think I still have my little card somewhere that I got that talked about all the different kinds of birth control. I learned a lot how STDs work and how they're transferred.
Coming on to this program, it was, like I said, like having sex education for the first time, and I got answers to so many questions that I've had about my body and about my health care for years that I never got answers to.
I think that we make a huge impact on young people in the region. I think that we open up this terrific space for young people to come talk about their stories and share their experiences. And I know for me that when I was first introduced to this project, I found a community in which I didn't feel alone. I felt that a lot of other people had the same experiences that I had had with birth control, and a lot of the stories I'd heard were similar to things that my friends had experienced. And I know that it's not always easy to talk about these matters in this region, so I feel like we create this space where people can really be themselves and get the information that they need and feel comfortable talking about it.
men, predominantly white men who are in power in the South in particular and all over this country, are making decisions about health care that restrict access to birth control and other life-saving medicines and procedures. Mostly because they don't understand, I would say, or they're just outright evil, maybe.
So I go back in the back to start talking to the doctor, and we're sitting down, and he's like, so you're here for birth control? Yes. Can you tell me about the implant? He said, you can't get the implant. Well, why not? He said, the implant is for people that can't swallow pills. You can swallow the pill. So I said, well, I was on a patch for years. He said, I know. I said, can I get back on a patch? He said, no. The patch and the implant are for people that cannot swallow pills. You can swallow a pill, so you will get the pill. I said, I don't want the pill. I can't remember it. He said, you have to train your mind. You have to make yourself remember. So instead of giving me the patch, forget the implant, I don't even want to know about it anymore. Just give me my patch back. And he said, no. Do you want the pill or not? I don't want to leave there without birth control. This man heard me, heard what I wanted and what I needed, completely ignored it, and gave me whatever he thought I needed, not what I knew that I needed. Although you're a doctor, I know my body too. I got the pill and I started it, and about 3 or 4 days in, I absolutely hated my life. Like, I hated my life. I had the worst mood swings. I had thoughts that I haven't had in years, like terrible, terrible thoughts. And I did not want to get out of bed. Like, everything was not okay. So I had to go to another doctor in Whitesburg, at a clinic in Whitesburg, and she prescribed me my patch back.
You're such a pro.
Well done.
At this point, birth control is used to treat many conditions that people with ovaries and a cervix deal with that are really misunderstood. A lot of people I know who cannot get pregnant are on birth control for various conditions.
I'm familiar with the pill. That's what I've taken most of the time since I've been on birth control. But through All Access, I did get a lot of education about the IUD, the patch. I've had a few friends be on the patch. It worked for some, and some it made their hormones go crazy.
I've had varied experiences with birth control, which I think is the story of most people who need birth control, is that it's a hit or a miss, right? It's like you have to shop it around and try this for 3 months and then maybe try this for 3 months.
Birth control's impacted my life in a lot of positive ways, considering when I was like maybe around 10 or 11, I was diagnosed with PCOS, which is polycystic ovarian syndrome. And so me taking birth control, also with another medication, metformin, it keeps my cyst shrunk down in my ovaries so I don't have any grow or rupture.
Being on birth control created a lot of opportunities for me. It allowed me to continue my education. It allowed me to focus on myself right now and develop a life for myself before, creating stability before bringing a child into this world.
Not that you can't do these things with a baby, but when you have a child very young, it sets up a lot of limitations for you and for your baby.
I feel like birth control really makes me feel normal in a way. For years, ever since I was 10, 11, I just felt really weird in my body. I didn't feel confident about myself because of all these issues I was having when it came to my reproductive health. And so having birth control there to help me through that and kind of live a normal life.